Hello, hello, hi. I am Nancy I, and this is behind the music, behind the lyrics, behind me. Today we're talking about Lullaby, which is a very special song because, again, it was one that was written somewhat many times. Ironically, it came originally from a song that my grandmother used to sing to me when I was a little girl that went, "My little angel, my little girl, you are my sweet one, my whole wide world. Angel from heaven, sent from above. You are my baby, you are my love," which somehow found its way to "The song I write for you tonight is how I'll stop the time. I can hold you now forever, in between each line. Our hearts will pace its rhythm, and our souls will write its rhyme. And when you go, I'll sing this song, just like a lullaby," which was actually a song for not just lovers, not just people, men that I loved that later passed on, not passed on like dead, just passed on like moved on, but for my daughters too, as I knew that at some point in time, one that's older was already leaving the nest and it was letting go, and then the other who would eventually do the same. So in tribute to my grandmother, who rest in peace again, she had a beautiful voice. Certainly did. In fact, my mom said there was a couple times where my grandfather and her had split. They were in an interesting relationship. But one of those times where he'd gone down to Florida and she'd stuck around up in town where I'm from, in Tennessee, my mother mentioned this recollection of watching Jean, is who we called her, because my mother was adopted and sadly never really latched to my grandmother as a mother. Maybe because she, in some sort of way, blamed her for not still being with her other brothers that stayed with their father after her biological mother had passed and their house had burnt down because their biological father had fallen asleep as a drunk and burnt it down. Nonetheless, I had a chance to really bond with my grandmother because, being the firstborn, I latched onto her with no regrets, no, knowledge of what came before, which is an interesting relationship that I won't get into now. But yeah, my mom said that she remembers my grandmother dancing around the house, trying her best to smoke a cigarette because she didn't smoke, in these red stilettos and these pencil jeans, and singing, "I will survive as long as I know how to love. I know I'll be alive." And I was just like, yeah, I do come from some really strong women that all both love to sing, and it's because of them I have such a great ear and perhaps such a great instrument as well. And I've learned many things in the evolution of being and, family trauma things, evolution of those patterns, right? Anyhow, as I hold this dear to me and this dear to me, and the bracelets on my wrist, each one given by people that I don't want to forget. This song, later produced by Anthony Galatis, was a love song to all of you and my children and my mother and grandmother and grandpa too. So there you have it. Lullaby.